Wow! What a sleek looking game Infamous Second Son truly is. Sucker Punch Studios did a superb job bringing Seattle to life. It is truly a beautifully video gamed up version of an awesome city. Second Son may leave something to be desired in terms of the story, but the gameplay and the aesthetic of the game are in no way less than awesome. The plotline of Infamous Second Son is an incredibly lackluster one. The first two Infamous games had very fascinating and smart, comic booky-like plotlines. The complexity of the story of Kolmagrath actually surprised me. There were interesting twists in both games that kept me intrigued and asking for more. Meanwhile, in Second Son, the story is far more generic, and is just missing that little bit of magic that we are used to seeing from Sucker Punch. So the plot isn't completely awful, but if you compare Second Son's story to that of Infamous 1 or 2, there is a stark contrast that might make fans of the series greatly disappointed. It makes one wonder whether resources for the game were pooled in favor of gameplay and graphics, while the story was left behind. In Second Son, the story seems to take on a little bit more of a serious tone. It deals with the issue of discrimination more than anything else. The world is still filled with power-wielding conduits. There aren't that many conduits anymore after the events that ended Infamous 2, but not all of them were eradicated from the Earth. Conduits are discussed in the game a little bit more scientifically in this installment of the series. The focus seems to be on the question of, what if conduits were real in our society today? How would regular humans actually react to them? This may sound interesting, but when it comes down to it, the story is extremely predictable. In Second Son, you play an Akomish tribe member by the name of Delsin Rowe. The Department of Unified Protection, or DUP for short, led by Brooke Augustine, is a government operation tasked with rounding up the conduits. Brooke Augustine is actually a cement conduit herself.
Yes, I am. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire.
In order to find information about escaped conduits, or bioterrorists, as the DUP calls them, Augustine tortures members of Delsin's Akomish people to find out what they know. She uses her cement powers to impale the people with cement shards. Pretty evil, I know. The cement cannot be removed by regular medical methods. Another cement conduit, or Augustine herself, must remove the shards, or many of the Akomish people might die. So Delsin and his brother Reggie choose to go to Seattle to find a way to save the Akomish. The acting, especially by Troy Baker as Delsin and Travis Willingham as Reggie, was impressive. The chemistry between the two brothers was very believable. This was the first Infamous game to feature full motion capture cutscenes, and it really paid off in spades. The cutscenes looked amazing.
Dad, I'll explain in the truck.
What truck? I don't have a truck, That's my truck.
Delsin is a conduit with the ability to absorb powers from other conduits. This opens up a whole slew of possibilities for the player. As Delsin absorbs new powers, he gets awesome new abilities. It was always exciting for me to see what powers Delsin would absorb next. Unfortunately, though, there were simply not that many new powers that Delsin was able to absorb. Like the other Infamous games, the player can choose either an evil or a good path. Depending on which path you choose, the game changes slightly for you. The power sets change and the story changes in a small way. The power sets for the evil Delsin are quite a bit more chaotic, and they pack a little bit more of a punch. The good powers, on the other hand, are more precision-based. The gameplay is amazingly fluid, and really does make you feel powerful. The dash for all the power sets is the best thing in the game by far. It allows you to expertly dodge attacks and close the gap between you and your enemy for a powerful melee attack. Like Kolmagrath, Delsin is also able to seamlessly climb buildings and other urban terrain with ease, but most of the time it is far faster to simply utilize the dash for cross-city movement. The first power set that Delsin gets is Smoke, and I must say that I surprisingly like this power set the most. I just love the way it looks as you dash across the screen. Delsin turns into millions of little smoke particles and then rematerializes in the direction that you asked him to go. The aesthetic of the game is gorgeous. The work that Sucker Punch did with lighting effects is phenomenal. Everything looks so real. When I first started playing the game, my first reaction was, this is truly next gen. The puddles and the garbage that the developers littered the city with are some of the little things that make this game a treasure to look at. It really is the little things. like the streaks of water on the sides of buildings after a rain, or the way the powers look in the dark. Ultimately, my favorite thing was the way Delsin recharges his powers. The smoke powers, for instance, need to be recharged using sources of smoke around the city. A smokestack or a burning car are good places to recharge smoke, for example. The second heavily advertised power is neon. The way Delsin absorbs neon from neon signs around the city not only looks amazing, but sounds incredible too. I often found myself traveling around the city recharging powers that were already maxed out on juice, just to hear and see the smoke and neon particles get pulled into Delsin's hand. I really loved this game. It looks beautiful, and it plays beautiful. The story left something to be desired, but it wasn't the worst story in the world. I just expected a better story from the people who brought me the complexity of Infamous 1 and 2. In the end, though, the attention to detail that Sucker Punch put into the graphical and gameplay aspects of Infamous Second Son makes this game quite the advertisement for the PlayStation 4 console.